Greetings, everybody. Before I begin my video, I want to advertise some jewelry. My ring and my earrings and my necklace were bought in the Montego Bay Flea Market. The next time you're in Jamaica and you're in that area, please drop by the flea market in Montego Bay and support the brothers and sisters. I'm not sure if my hands are good for modeling anymore. I used to have very beautiful hands, believe it or not. And my obsession with washing dishes and cleaning my house, and my hands always been in water. Now they're all jacked up, but I don't care. I'd rather have jacked up nails. If you see my nails when you watch my videos, sometimes they're so terrible, but I don't care. I really don't care. I'm not putting on fake nails on my nails. Um, and I don't feel like cutting it sometimes. I won't. I won't try to impress you that way. I don't care. I'd rather have chapped up hands than being on the road looking all glam and beautiful and my house stinks. Some of these pretty girls with all the fake things on the road, if you go to their house, you vomit. Pretty girls, clean your houses, please. Stop throwing your underwear and your things all around the floor. Stop being so nasty at home and impressing other people. Start cleaning your house first, and then you can present an image. Anyway, today we're talking about honesty. And I'm going to share a little bit about who I used to be. Operative word here is used to. So I came to this new world from Jamaica. I lived in a very remote part of Jamaica, bush, and some more bush. There were no public transportation. You had to walk for about 1 hour to get to school every day. And in recent years, it's still the same. And if you go there right now, we have electricity. But when I was growing up, we had no electricity. There was no running water in anybody's house. 2006, there was still no running water in some of my relatives' house. And some of them didn't have electricity. It's still that type of place. That's where I came from. Bush girl. And when I came to this country, I was this really sweet person, very quiet, very calm. I still have the propensity to be very quiet and very calm. If I'm in a workplace environment, I keep to myself really. Hi, bye. I'm very respectful of other people, but I usually am a loner. I think a lot, I read a lot, and I need time to myself, and all the chattering all the time around me sometimes get to me. I was a nice girl, and I met this person. She's about 9 or 10 years older than me. And I really admire her because she has influenced my growth in a lot of ways. She was very encouraging. She saw a part of myself that I didn't see and didn't know. And she was sweet, just wonderful person. But she was a very assertive person. And I wasn't like her. I was the type of person where if you said something to me that was hurtful, I would cry. I'm still that same person. I get hurt sometimes, but nowadays I've learned how to filter the noise out and not take certain things. Unless you mean something to me, you can't really hurt me that more anymore. But sometimes now, if I cry, I can feel hurt inside. I can feel angry, and it makes me cry because I don't trust myself to say certain things because I'm always guarded. I always try to guard my tongue when it comes to certain things. Now, I live in a world that uses death, prison, and punishment to get back to you. So, right now, there's one thing that is very important to me. And because of that, I try to guard my tongue. But trust me, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do that for because I've gotten to the point now where I've learned different methods of dealing with my anxiety and my stress. And not an anxiety that is diagnosed by doctors, but an anxiety that I feel within myself because of the struggles in life. As a Black woman, I am triple oppressed. And so sometimes when I come upon this kind of oppression, I don't know how, and I don't want to suppress it anymore. And so I have found ways to deal with it. But sometimes, man, I want to say PC, RC, BC. I want to say all of those words because somehow they feel so empowering. Today, we're talking about honesty. We are having a difficult time in this world in meeting individuals who are honest. When we meet people these days, their smile sometimes is very deceptive, and their words can sometimes be very deceptive. They'll come to you with a demeanor that make you trust them, pull you into this kind of net, and then they catch you in the net and they slay you. These are the individuals that I don't like, I don't trust. I told you already, I prefer Donald Trump. His type, he tells you what is on his mind. I prefer the Ku Klux Klan. I like them because they tell you what's on their mind. So you are not in any danger of these individuals because they're honest. I want to be happy. But I realize that I can't entrust others to make me happy. I must make myself happy because that happiness must come from within me. And so what I can do, I can pick a career, I can pick a man, I can pick an environment where that happiness can exist, but I don't allow the external forces to create that happiness for me. I have to create that myself. I have to find it from deep within me. And now I find myself in a dilemma where I want to be happy. I'm trying to create an environment in which I can be happy, but sometimes external forces come in with their deception and their lies. Deception and lie being the same thing, but they come to you with this dishonesty. And if you're not careful, you will sell your mother for a piece of bread. You will betray your children without even realizing. And so let me give you a concrete example of this thing that I'm talking about, our honesty. I had a conversation this morning with a person who called me about my daughter. And she told me how wonderful my 7-year-old daughter is and how she's doing well in her new school. And, she was sending home something for me to sign to give her permission for my daughter to join this group, a group where kids socialize and get to know each other. But because I live in a space where individuals are liars and deceptive, I understand how to intercept those conversations. So I said to her, "Oh, that's wonderful." She says, "Everything is going well. She's so social, so on and so forth." And I said to her, "So you're pulling out of her class to go and socialize with other kids. Isn't that wonderful?" "Yes, it's good for her. We're so happy for her." And I said to her, "Well, why isn't the whole class going with her? If this is such a wonderful social gathering, what is your criteria for selecting my daughter?" "Oh, no, it's no reason, it's completely up to you." Well, my answer is no. And then she says to me, "Oh, actually, she could use it. I mean, in terms of when she plays on the playground and so on, she probably." I said, "You just told me that everything was wonderful and she was this wonderful, social butterfly. And now you want me to sign a paper to say that she's a social butterfly. What is this really about?" "Oh, it's nothing." She's still trying to pull the wool over my eye. And I often say to myself, why did I even come to this country? And why did I waste my time, getting an education? Because it doesn't make any sense. It's useless. Honestly, I've said that before because when I have encountered struggles and fight in my place of employment and things like that, I also say, what's the point? Why don't I just go to a factory and waste my time and my energy doing all of this thing? But now I realize it's not just about the money. Education is power. When you're educated, and when I talk about educated, it doesn't have to be formal educated. Find something that you like and become versed in it. That's what I'm saying. Everybody doesn't have the opportunity or the will or the interest in doing post-secondary, but you can at least educate yourself in whatever you love to do. This individual is telling me that she wants to take my child to a behavioral class. And she's not doing anything. I know she behaves well at school. She really is very respectful of authority. She challenges me sometimes, but I know she's very respectful of those who are in authority in her environment. And this woman comes to me with trickery to get me to endorse her putting my child into a special group and to label my child. This is how we inadvertently get involved in a situation or a system where we end up labeling our own kids because they cannot do it to our children. We have to volunteer. We have to sign them permission. Well, guess what? I am not going to give you permission to label my child, my black daughter who has to come through triple oppression in this world. I'm not going to let you trick me into signing some document over where later on I come to regret it. So my education has worked for me because now when they come to me with lies and deception, I know how to intercept on behalf of my future black daughter, my black child now, and my future granddaughters of tomorrow. Trickery. Try to get me to sign my child up to something because you get some extra money for having these behavioral classes. My child doesn't have behavioral issue. This is the same thing that happened to my 20-year-old daughter. She's now 20. But when she was that same age, somebody came to me and said that she had problems. What was her problem? She wasn't speaking and she didn't know how to read. And my baby knew how to read. She was just very quiet. So if you're loud, you're labeled a behavioral child. If you don't talk like a blabbermouth, you're said that you have some difficulty. And now you have to go into some special kind of program. And when I told him nothing is wrong with my daughter, she's very quiet. When she speaks, she's very soft spoken. It is in your interest as a person who claims to be her teacher to listen to her. She's shy. She's not slow. There's a big difference between slow and being shy. And I had to stand my ground back then. That was 12 years ago. That same slow child, learning disabled child, is now in university in her third year, maintaining honor all through high school, and is an honor roll student in university in her third year. And one of her professor of psychology has approached her recently and asked her to be one of his TAs. This is not to mark true or false answers. This is to mark essays. That's how good my daughter is. And if I didn't stand up for her then, she should have been put in some special disability class. Black people, this is one of the things where I'm so disappointed in you. I've seen it. A lot of you black people with your stupid weave and your fake lashes and your makeup on fleek and your eyebrow on fleek and your outfit that you can't even afford. You don't spend any time with your children. You don't care about the kids' education. This is not every black person. I'm just speaking to the ones who are guilty of this. You don't go to parent-teacher meeting. You don't interact with your parent. You don't help the kids with their homework when they come home. You don't pay attention to the kids' education. It's not important to you. All you flipping care about is how people see you when you go outside. You have your dirty, stinking house that you don't clean up. And you don't take care of your kids sometimes. And you're just busy looking at your face and your appearance. Those things don't matter. Everybody can look cute. Anybody can go to the department store and buy makeup and put it on anytime. Those are things you can do after your kids grow up and establish whatever they want to do in their life. Learn. Find out. Be critical and skeptical. Don't trust everything that you hear, and listen. Listen to individuals and ask questions. If you don't understand, ask questions. I listened to this female this morning trying to cajole me into putting my kid into some special needs class, taking my child out of classroom when she should be learning, and bringing her somewhere to go talk nonsense about socialization and all that nonsense. You don't need to socialize my child. She's a child. She's playing outside. If she's playing with one kid and that relation, I already teach my kid how to treat other individuals, how to be respectful of other people. And when other persons reject her, do not take it personal. Go find somebody who look like you, who will accept you. Be loving and kind to everybody on the playground. Be open. You don't teach kids about prejudice and about racism and all those things. I don't do that to my kid. But I teach her that if you go and try to be friendly with somebody and they're not interested in you, go find somebody else who likes you. It is important for us to be fully engaged in our kids' learning and their education. But it's important not to sign your children over to some unfortunate circumstance in the future, because some of these kids, they have different times in life when they peak. Different times when they start showing interest even in learning. Some kids don't care about learning until they get to grade 7, 8, 9. That's not to say that you're going to ignore that. You're going to be behind them to encourage them and to push them. And whatever challenges they are, you work with their teachers and you work with the individuals who care about their well being. You will know who these individuals are. They will not try to trick you. They will tell you the truth. And you will know before they even tell you what the child's challenge is. You will know what it is if you're a parent and you watch and you learn along with your child. I don't like hypocrites. I don't like individuals who try to sneak up on me and try to get me into something that is disgusting. This is what the problem is in the world. Individuals, you meet people and you cannot trust anybody. If they say up, you gotta wonder if they're talking about down. You have to examine everything. I really don't trust anybody. So if they think that they're going to pull it all over my eye, after all the experiences I've had for myself, my personal experience, and what I've seen my children go through, then they better come again. Because my education did not serve me to make money, because I got fight on that front. But my education is going to come to help me navigate this world and to help my children in the future. As long as God gives me breath, I am their advocate. I am my children's advocate. I am the one who stand as a guard to ensure that the opportunities that are available to them are not taken with trickery and cunning things or attitudes. So, my friend, my beautiful friend back in the day, who I admire so much and who knew me in my most innocent stage, she said to me, when you come to this country, you have to leave your innocence. And I didn't understand that. She said, you have to leave your innocence and bring your bad words. I didn't understand that. How can I leave my innocence and bring my bad words? And after all these years, I finally understand. Leave your innocence, leave your conscience, and bring your bad word. That was a frightening thing to me. And I met so many other individuals who says, oh, you're too this or you're too that. I used to get very angry. Why should I be something that I'm not? Why I have to be forced? Now I get it. And the reason why I don't behave worse these days is because of the label that is put upon Black women. We're tyrants, we're loud, we're obnoxious. But sometimes it is that way because of society and experiences they've had in their lives. I guard my tongue sometimes, but there are times when I feel like, to hell with it, I don't care. I'm very guarded because I want individuals to listen to me. And sometimes in all that noise, people don't listen. They just stop listening because they can't filter out what you're saying. The noise is too great. I'm warning you, Black women, especially Black men, you must be involved in the process too. Your child's well-being is something that you ought to be mindful of. But women tend to be closer to the kids when it comes to homework and school and things like that. And I am saying, and I'm reaching out to the Black women, please go to school, pay an interest into your children's educational well-being. You know, sometimes that's why we have kids that we can't really afford, because we just think we can buy them clothes and food and shelter, and we don't think about their future. We don't think about their education. It's very important. That is one of the things that we're going to need to do in order to get our kids to go out there and to challenge the system and you know, to fight the status quo and to position themselves in places where they can make meaningful differences. They can be lawyers and doctors and teachers and nurses and all kinds of professional people out there that can do things to our community, where we can open our own business and support our own communities, because everything is there. But until we have an educated group of children, we will not be able to do that. We won't be able to start our own companies, start our own manufacturing business, you know, our own travel and tourism and all these things. Education is critical for our development of our people. They can come, and I'm listening and I'm trying to be very respectful, but there ain't nobody putting no wool over my eye again. You might trick me, but I won't allow you to bring me into the situation where I give you permission to abuse and trick my children. Their future is very important to me. and that of the other people in my community. Be blessed, everybody. Think on these things.